At this time, I don't have anyone yet indicating the need to speak. I see MP De Wever would probably indicate that need, so I await MP De Wever's signing of the speaker's sheet, and then I will give her the word. MP De Wever, you have the floor. Just a reminder, the speaking time, of course, for the members of parliament is 20 minutes in the first round and 10 minutes in the second round. So with that, MP De Wever, I give you the floor.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Good morning to you, my colleagues, the minister and his team, support staff, everyone listening or viewing. Minister, actually, every time I had a question based on the minister's presentation, he answered it subsequently. So the only thing I need to ask is, listening to the presentation and a couple of the comments you added in, I made notice of, for instance, land policy, where it's going to have I feel like maybe it may potentially have an all-encompassing effect covering other ministries where, for instance, if it's done completely, that means it could also potentially include protection of monuments and certain land areas, then I guess, which means that it will private property. But then it will also restrict certain tourism, construction, development, based on what I hear. So it was very, very brief in an additional comment. So I just want to know if this has the potential of actually be far-reaching, because one of the challenges that we've had here, when you look at everything separate, is when you feel like you have a protected area, something happens to it, because whatever process has to be done to protect something didn't take place. And then if we're talking about exactly the comment that you said of we may have sort of reached capacity on certain projects, that also will have an effect on it. So we're touching now already Education, Culture, Youth and Sports Ministry, as well as Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transportation and Telecommunication Ministry. If that is the intention, then what is the dialogue that's happening with the other ministries now on it? Is there any sort of authority that needs to come over your direction? Because for me, I feel like it should be an all-in-one package. That way we don't have this constant back and forth on cultural heritage, on our tourism plan for the future. Thank you very much, Madam Chair Lady.
Thank you, MP De Wever. I look at the speakers list, and I now give the floor to MP Labega. MP Labega, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. Sorry, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. What time is it? 23 minutes left. Good morning, Madam Chair. Good morning to the Scroffier, my fellow colleagues, and good morning to the Minister of Economy and Support staff. I'm very happy to hear that finally there's going to be a land policy. I know this has been a hot topic for many years, maybe even a decade, where ministers have the discretion to give out land to who they want, when they want, and even some of the time, the time when they allocate the land is very suspicious, and it definitely goes against some of the major plans that governments have. I would even go as far as prioritizing the people in society with lower socioeconomical status, because I believe that everybody should have a fair chance to acquire land and fulfill their dreams of home ownership. So I'm very glad that this is now in play. I have a few more questions as the presentation and the dialogue continue, but I'm very glad to hear this is finally here. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Labega. Members of Parliament, is there no other member who wishes to speak to the topic? I see MP Jansen Webster is... MP Jansen, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To the Minister, good morning to everyone, to colleagues, and welcome to the Minister and his support staff. Through you, Madam Chair, to the Minister, I just had one burning question regarding land allocation. Just if the minister could take into consideration, instead of giving 2,000 square meters, for instance, to one household, if we could look at bundling 3 parcels of 2,000 and then creating a space, or even using the 2,000 to create a space to have the social housing that we so desperately need. You know, so maybe look at it a little different, where more people can make use of the small amount of property that is still available. That's just an observation. If through you, Madam Chair, if the minister can also look at that when allocating land. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Jansen Webster. And I now have MP Lyndon Lewis. MP Lewis, you have the floor.
Good afternoon, Chair. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister and your support staff. Good afternoon to my colleagues, members in the Tribune. Good afternoon, St. Martin. Minister, I only have one question with regards to the policy when it comes to implementing procedures on how an applicant should apply. I know you mentioned about first going public with your intention, but many individuals, for example, over the years have applied for long lease land. They never received an answer. I think it is respectful that individuals get an answer, whether they are going to get it or if there's no long lease land or pertaining to the zoning where they're looking for property. Many are still awaiting answers or response from your ministry as to what is going on for many years. As I know, for example, in the Ministry of TIAT, if you apply for a taxi license, there is a moratorium. They will receive a response that there's a moratorium. If the moratorium is lifted, then they have the opportunity to apply again, and their chances are there 50-50. But is there any way within the policy that if one applies for property, what is the time frame for them to receive a response whether or not they can obtain long lease land? That is my question. Thank you.
Thank you, MP Lewis. I see MP La Cruz taking or requesting the floor by signing the speakers list, so I give him a minute or two. MP La Cruz, you have the floor.
A blessed morning, Madam Chair, Lady Griffier, Minister, Honorable Minister of Rami, his support staff, my colleagues, those listening through social media. Madam Chair, Lady, through you to the Minister, a question that someone just sent me, and it referred a little to what my colleague just mentioned. If when this new policy is in place, the people that already have requested, do they still, or is their request still active in the system? Or will they have to reapply or re-request to be able to get a piece of government land? That is extremely important because there's, I think, a lot of requests pending in the system. And like my colleague just mentioned, it would be extremely important that they either get a reply or are told what to do and how to move forward, because that's one of the biggest frustrations that actually take place. Then, Madam Chair, Lady, through you, to the Minister, if the Minister could maybe in an infomercial or, just maybe on government webpage, put down how someone can request a piece of government land. A lot of times it's not about if they can, but just that they don't know how to go about with the whole process, and that creates frustration and a lot of misinterpretations where people would believe that, hey, I didn't get a fair chance, someone else got. So just ter informatie, that would be something that I would like to see in the short time ahead. Thank you, Madam Chair, Lady.
Thank you, MP La Cruz. I see the next member up to speak is MP York. I give the floor to you, MP York.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon to the Minister. Good afternoon to support staff, members of Parliament, and those of the viewing public. Minister, I took note of your presentation, and the presentation has the timelines of actions passed, actions done up to date, and also that a third party will be executing basically the construction of the policy moving forward, and it should be done within a year's time. What I would have liked to see as well in the presentation, although a third party is going to put the policy together, it also comes with some directives from the Minister's Cabinet through you, Madam Chair, of basically what the Minister would like also to be in it when it comes to directives and vision, right? And I did not get, because since the whole DDAM arrest and the whole issuance of making of a new policy, the public would also like to know what they can expect, right? So is there going to be a shift in vision with the way the land is allocated, of course with transparency, but as well, what I was hoping for is that moving forward, not only issuing the land, but also that the government has, especially seeing that land is so scarce nowadays, and the movement forward when it comes to green spaces, social spaces, etc., that the government also incorporates a type of development plan for the land that's about to be issued, right? So although you issue one plot of land, that land is part of a bigger picture that's, once everything is developed, that it encompasses what the vision is of the government moving forward. So that way you don't miss social spaces, you don't miss green spaces, you don't miss spaces, period. So my question is, what is the vision of the Minister as it pertains to the way forward with the policy? I understand that he cannot give the details of it because he's not the one making it, but I know that his vision will be incorporated in it. So I think the people would like to have a bit of a richting, as you would say, of what they can expect of it, and within the year, also if the Minister will be coming back with various updates pertaining to the status of the policy moving forward. And that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you, MP York. I continue with the speakers, and I give the floor to MP Waver. MP Waver, you have the floor.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Graffier, Honorable Minister, support staff, honorable colleagues, those listening in the Tribune and via whichever media. You stated, Minister, through you, Madam Chair, in the country package, that there are 3 dates. So what happens, because you said there's also a lack of personnel, of interested persons that would qualify for this position. What happens after February 22nd, after that deadline has been met, and we still do not have or found, let's say, the right person that we say, this is the one that's going to make sure that the project goes ahead? So that, and also the temporary policy, is that ready? And also, does the public know about it? How will how will pending requests be handled or informed? Do we still have CapEx available to purchase land? Because we know government land is scarce as it is, so we might have to look at acquiring private properties. So is CapEx available for those kind of purchases? Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, MP Waver. That is it for now after MP Iran. MP Iran is signing the speakers list, so I give him a moment to do so.